All those students whose parents can't afford schools that offer online education. That student in Karamoja whose nearest school is kilometers away. That student whose only way out of family poverty was education. Okay, let me first deal with my Alika. Alika, you were interrupting me. Okay. Hey, okay. You behave, eh? Okay, behave. So we are going to do it again with my daughter. Please just hold. Alika, please don't. I'm speaking, eh? Okay. All those students whose parents can't afford schools that offer online education. That student in Karamoja whose nearest school is kilometers away. That student whose only way out of family poverty is education. And now, because of the circumstances beyond your control, that dream seems impossible. That student who may never go back to school because of the brutal disruptions of COVID. I'm thinking about you today. You are not alone. So this, I just sat down and I wrote this briefly after sharing a photo on my status about, let me try to, I just found this and I screenshot it from a person's friend's timeline and I shared it on my status. And I was asking, why didn't we suspend education until circumstances are right for education to resume for the whole country? And the replies I got gave me something to think about, and that's why I'm here. Professor Anton Mugaga, appearing on NBS, said, and I quote, that those students whose future is guaranteed, those who are studying virtually now. And he continued to say, if we don't do things right, the other category, those students that have no access to education, those students, like I paraphrased what I've written before, those students, okay, those students like the youth who can't afford online education, whose schools are far, and he said we are going to be like Afghanistan. Those are students that are going to be bombing up people. Those are students that are going to be stealing. You know, it's very risky to be a wealthy person in a poor neighborhood. It's like you're flying on an airplane that is destined to crash. Sometimes it's easy for people in Kampala, people in Uganda to speak from a privileged, Alika, can I finish? To speak from, okay, say something. Okay. It's so easy for people from Kampala, people from Western Uganda or Buganda, Central Uganda, to think that the picture you see is actually a reflection of the whole country. If you think like that, you totally wrong. I've had an opportunity to travel deep in the villages, the deepest corners of this country, and what I saw is saddening. I've been to places deep in Karamoja where a whole village just gathers in the evening around one radio. Imagine, where there is totally no electricity, where there is totally no, they don't have access to radio. There's no, you find like 100 homesteads, no one owns even a single TV, not even a solar powered TV. I've been to all those places. And I know when we are promoting online education, I know what it means for those students out there. I don't want to speak from a privileged point of view, because if my kid is ready to go to school, I can probably take her to school even if we are under total lockdown. She can access education. But that's bad. We need to develop a bigger picture of how the country is. As a matter of fact, the majority of the students in this country are those kids who can't access virtual education. So what are we doing about our citizens from the underprivileged neighborhoods? Are we going to sit and say parents are not doing enough? Oh my God, there is no single parent who doesn't want to take their child to school. There's no single parent who doesn't want to offer their child a future. I'm not a firm believer in formal education, but also I'm not a denier. I know sometimes what education can do. I've seen families who never had a chance of breaking the poverty cycle, but by just coming together and taking that one child to the university, graduates, gets a job, that family is able to break the chains, the viscous cycle of poverty. So I know what education can do, and I really know what education exactly means. You'll forgive me. My daughter can't allow me do things here, and I have to be with her. So I know what I'm speaking about. So even when the president was saying we are going to distribute radios, I know there are people who can't afford to buy a radio in this country. So pause and think for a moment. Think out of your privileged position. Think out of the comfort zone. Think about all those guys, students out there, and have a bigger picture. And probably, it's useless being the only rich person in your family. It's useless being the only rich person in your community when the rest of people are suffering. It's meaningless. So as our children continue to study virtually, please think of that other person. Think of that other person. And hopefully you can come up with a solution. If you can't afford to help a child in your neighborhood go to school, attain education virtually, please do it. And God will bless you. If you can send money to a community in Karamoja, to a community in those rural areas, please do it. Thank you. This is Hoodoo's Perspective. See you again. And before I go, you can consider, if what I've spoken resonates with you, please consider subscribing to this channel. Salute.